What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you all to the first ever 40K Fridays on Blue Eyes Banter. Yep, that's my YouTube channel. Subscribe, check it out every Friday from now on. We are going to have a video directly related all to 40K for all you nerds out there. Now, if you're not into 40K, you probably don't want to watch any more of this video. It's going to be totally full on the nerd all the way. Now, if you know what 40K is, Warhammer 40,000, and you've had slight interest in it, or you just don't know what it is, well, keep watching. Who knows? You might pick it up. If not, now something I do want to mention, already giggling, before I get into today's video is I had no clue that you actually have to put a disclaimer on your YouTube videos if you swear. If you use the word like fuck, you got to put a disclaimer. Warning: this shit has got explicit language in it. Just in case some of the younger kids out there end up watching the video or whatnot. Not something I like to do around children, to swear. So if you have kids that are younger than, I say, like 13, probably don't want to watch. I'll try to keep the language down, but that's about it. Now, I'm going to jump right into the 40K. Now, for you guys who don't really know who I am, I've been in the hobby a really, really long time. I'd say about 15 years. I started with model cars. I used to enter them in competitions, everything. I learned a lot of the skills that I learned from my father building model cars. I translated those over to 40K, which was, I had a huge leg up on a lot of people. When it came to starting the hobby, I already knew like a lot of the basics and everything. I've worked for GW. I've entered in 5 Golden Demon competitions. I've missed the last couple of years just because there's no longer one in Canada. This fuck you for GW for thanking you. I'm not going to thank you, actually. Fuck you for screwing over all the people in Canada that used to go to the one in Toronto. Now we got to travel even farther. Assholes. Anyways, yeah, so I've entered the Golden Demon 5 times. I'm an 11-time Golden Demon finalist. I've come really close to scoring a bronze Golden Demon on 3 occasions. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and that shit can get explosive. You know what? Not winning the Golden Demon has definitely motivated me and pushed me to be a better hobbyist and to push the skills of my painting to levels that I never ever thought I could reach. Now, one example of that is this Carmine Dragon. Now, I've been working on this dragon for the better part of 2 years. I had it given to me as a gift from a friend of mine because he just loves the work that I do for him. He's a happy client. So I've been picking away at this. Now, I started painting this a long time ago. I took it to GW, I was painting it there and everything, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I started over. Stripped it, went right back to the beginning, reprimed it, everything. And started over. Now, the colors that I used on this model, I did use a lot of colors, but I also did a lot of blending. I used Xerxes purple, Emperor's Children. I also used Gene Stealer purple, Mornfang brown, Deathclaw brown, Jackbone from P3, the old Bleach bone, Ushtabi bone, Skull white, the new White Scar, Abaddon black, Chaos black. Those are the same thing. I've used a lot of colors on this model. Now, to give you guys a close-up, because I'm holding it like way back here, you can't see nothing. We'll bring it up to the camera. Hopefully it doesn't block my beautiful face. And I'm kidding. So on this model, I did a lot of blending. I've changed my painting style up a lot over the last few years. It's been evolving, getting better and better. I fell in love with the color purple on this model. I don't know why. I just think it looks really, really badass and cool. As you can see, the majority of the bottle's body is all done in purples. I tried to use the Emperor's Children pink as mainly a highlight color on it, and then blended it with white to bring it up and give it some of the lighter details. I did try to paint depth into this model as well. Not easy to do on something so large, but I think I accomplished it really well. If you guys take a look at the base here, still have to touch up the display piece that it's actually on. Really happy with how the egg turned out. Looks really, really good. You can see the definition and everything, especially with the claws. I'm really happy with all the bone parts, like this claw up here and everything, and the fangs in the mouth. Couple colors that I used red to draw your eye towards it because it's the only red on the model. I also used blue in the eyes, so they're the only 2 spots on it. really happy with it. I consider it done for now. I do have to go back over it with a fine-tooth comb to get it competition worthy. Now, something I really suggest for all you people out there who've never ever entered a competition, when you think you're done your model, you're not. Now, for veterans out there, you can agree with me, you can't. It doesn't really matter. This is my opinion. I truly, when I think a model's done, it's never really done. You actually have to go back over it, and you will find things that you've messed up on before in the past. It's not something to get overly concerned about. We all make mistakes when it comes to painting models. It's not the end of the world. But go back over your models if you plan on entering them in a competition. Even if you painted them a long time ago, go back over them. Just make sure there's no mistakes, touch up little things, you know, just go that little extra bit. You'll be surprised at how well you do. Now, another thing on entering competitions. If you ever get the chance to talk to the judges, I do recommend asking them as many questions as you can. Find out what you did wrong, why you placed where you did, things you could improve on. And even better, if there's people there that are actually professional painters, like Vincent Houdon from Team Montreal, who's a really badass painter. I was lucky enough to spend 3 hours with him at a games day and learned a shit ton of fucking knowledge from him, changed the way I painted. So do everything you can to talk to these people and learn from them. It's all about learning and developing your hobby skills. Now on this model particularly, I only used 3 brushes. You're probably going to be shocked. I used a standard brush, detail brush, and a fine detail brush. I took my time with it. There's a lot of hours into this model. I'm really happy with it. I will be taking it with me to go to Games Day this year, so if you're going, I plan to see you all there. Now, last year I was going to go to Games Day, and I kind of had, I kind of got let down a little bit. I had this Spartan army that I was working on. I thought it was wicked cool. I'd won numerous painting competitions with it, numerous tournament best painted. I spent 3 years working on this army, and I went to Armies on Parade, and I was beat out. And not by, it was more that, you know what, it doesn't matter why I was beat, I got beat. And I was like determined, I was really convinced that I was going to win, and I let myself down. So, I sold that army. Believe it or not, I sold it to a good friend of mine. I know it's in a great home, he's going to take care of it and love it, and he's even got Big Green. It's actually, Big Green is one of Cyborg, if you guys are familiar with Cyborg miniatures, it's one of his original sculpts. It was super hard to come by, very, very rare. I paid a pretty penny for it. So, now that I'm done my cigarette, which was distracting me, I shouldn't smoke in the videos, it's a terrible habit. Don't fucking smoke, people. You'll regret it. I am working on a lot of stuff. I got this battle wagon, like I mentioned, I've been working on. Also some Ludas, this Lizard Man, pretty cool. Nurgle Space Marines. So I got, oh, he just went flying. I got a lot on the go. Now, I don't want to just show you all about the stuff I'm working on and everything. That's not really interesting. You see it all over Facebook. People are working on all sorts of shit all the time. Mentioning Facebook, though, I do want to let you guys know there's a competition, painting competition going on the biggest 40K group on Facebook. There's 10,000 members. I am an admin, so is Luke, and so is my buddy Max. Max, I gotta give you a shout out, buddy. You're doing an absolutely great job. Keep it up. I can't wait to see your entry this month. And speaking of entry, it's called the Massacre Over the Orb of Eternity. It's a painting conversion challenge. Now, the first part of this month's challenge is you gotta build a model, take a picture, put it on the group, and then paint it, obviously. Paint it, enter it. There'll be a winner at the end of this month. Now, there's no prizes or anything like that. It's all for fun and everything. I just want to see what the turnout would be like. And it's actually been a really, really good turnout. So if you are in that competition, get on your model, build your model, paint it, get it up on there, get some positive feedback, and we'll go from there. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a foresight, whatever you want to call it, into next month's challenge. Now, this month, you have to build a guy on a 25 or 45 millimeter base. Next month, you're no 25. It's gone. Get rid of it. 45 or 60 mil base. This is going to let you bring in those big monsters, creatures like Tyranids and Dreadnoughts, Hellbrutes, anything that would go on a 60 millimeter base. I even dare one of you guys to make an enemy, an Imperial Guard, frickin' heavy weapons platform. That'd be hilarious. These are the enemies. These guys are going after the orb. How are they going to get around with a big fucking gun? I don't get it. They're fucking done. Anyways, when that's done, the next month after that, without giving too much away, you're going to have to build something these guys are going to fight on. It involves the orb. But remember, nobody can hold an orb. Only the Necrons hold the orb. They don't actually hoard the old. They hold the resurrection orbs. That shit keeps them alive, gets them coming back. Not too familiar with the rules of Necrons. Never played them. Have played against them. But so let's dive into the hobby a little bit more instead of me talking about all this other stuff and everything. I wanted to give you guys some tips and tricks on saving money when it comes to the hobby. Now, I've been in this a long time. I used to buy GW paint, glues, everything. Still buy GW paint, swear by the stuff, love it. Vallejo makes great paints as well. Don't limit yourself to just GW products. So, in an effort to save money, I went out and I found cheap alternatives to building stuff. One of those things is going to be one thing I find crazy is how much you can find at Dollarama or a dollar store. Now, for the most part nowadays, most dollar stores carry all the same stuff. There's generally anything you find at one, you can find at the other. So, on that note, I'll start off with one of the greatest things I've ever found from the dollar store is super glue. Now you're gonna be like, super glue from the dollar store? Really? That shit ain't gonna work. Only thing it'd probably be good for holding together is your thumb to your other finger. No, not in this case. This glue is actually made by Titan. Sometimes it's made by a different company. You get 4 tubes for $1. That's a steal. So for $5, you can get 20 tubes. And the great thing about it is if you use 1 tube, which is small, you run out or you leave it out overnight, we've all done it, you haven't wasted or killed the tip on your other glue bottle. This is the thing I don't like about the big GW super glue bottles. They're just too big. You can ruin models with them. It's all about how much pressure you use with them. And especially for a new kid or new people into the hobby, controlling a glue bottle is something that, it's not easy to teach somebody. It's all a feel thing. So I find with these smaller tubes, you get a bit better feel. You don't waste as much. And even if you squirt this all out and ruin a model, you haven't wasted a $10 bottle of super glue. For $1, you've wasted a 25-cent tube. So check it out. Go to the dollar store. See if you can find some. If not, I'm sure you can look around. They're everywhere. I've seen these in tons of dollar stores. Another thing I found at the dollar store is corkboard. Surprisingly cheap. $2. Says it right there. $2. I got 2 1-foot by 1-foot sheets. These are great for building up rocky formations on bases, part of scenery, whatnot. They make great rock when primed black and dry brushed with multiple grays. They look amazing. So try that out as well. I'm actually using that stuff on a new project right now. That is a Chaos Blood Angel / Trader Legion. I can play them as both. And if you can look really closely, you can see there's the cork. I've actually painted it black and made it glossy like obsidian rock. My theme on these bases is a lava field. So obviously obsidian rock and fire. Goes along with the Hell Drake that I posted on Facebook before. So, other dollar store stuff I found some of the shrubbery that people use for fake flowers and stuff in their house can make really, really excellent trees, fauna for 40k terrain. So don't just limit yourself to buying stuff from GW products. You can find wicked alternatives at the dollar store. Another example are these display rocks. They, I think this was like $1.25 and like it's huge. The rocks in it are actually like pretty good size. They'd make great larger rocks for terrain. Not super huge like the big slate kits you can get from the basing kit from GW. I haven't found anything like that there. But these make great rock alternatives. Good idea to showing different levels and grades of terrain on your bases. Also, another thing I found there was I found that you can save a ton of money on larger paintbrushes. Now, we've all gone to GW and we've all bought brushes from GW that are pretty, large tank brush or whatever you want to call them, large dry brush and shit like that. They can get quite expensive, and for someone new into the hobby, you can butcher those brushes real easily. So what I've done, instead of using those, not to say I butcher brushes, I'm a professional model painter here, people. I buy big dollar store brushes to save on money. They're great for doing large pieces of terrain, for doing tanks, whatnot. I'm not a huge airbrush guy. I like to hand paint a lot of my stuff, but on tanks and whatnot, I do airbrush to save time, and you get a better finish. But those bigger brushes will come in handy on terrain pieces, and you don't have to worry about ruining them because you've only spent maybe like $1 or $2 on them, so you can pick up a lot of them. Also, in regards to saving money and getting back on the glue, I know I'm talking hobby supplies and whatnot, is I don't use GW plastic glue. I don't use a lot of GW products, to be honest with you. Tamiya cement. Now, this is a plastic weld glue. I don't recommend it for a beginner into the hobby because first off, this does melt plastic fairly quickly, and it's got a high adhesion rate, which is great. It works effectively and really quick. And to boot, it's got a brush in it. Now, I don't know if GW makes a product with a brush for plastic glue, but this is wicked for controlling the amount of glue you're going to use on your models. You're not going to end up with that squeeze the bottle and it goes all over your Space Marine, and all of a sudden with just a little bit of super glue, he's turned his back on the Emperor and gone Nurgle because he's melting. So yeah, check this out. It's $5. I got it at a hobby store here in town. I usually pick up more than one bottle, and I can do like about anywhere between 200 infantry to 400 infantry with one bottle, or like 15 to 20 tank kits. Like, this shit seems to last forever. I fucking swear by it. Literally. So those are some tips on saving money. Also, I find you can buy some dollar store paints, craft paints that do terrain as well. And when it comes to paints, for me, I'm a hardcore GW guy. I love my GW paints. One thing I do want to touch on though is I'm not happy with their new lid designs. What I find is that when you use these paints, let me open this up, in the back part of the lid here, down here, if you guys can see this, I find a lot of paint collects, and it does exactly what it did there. It just falls into this trap between where the lid opens, and it collects, and it causes an issue. It dries out. It drives me absolutely nuts. There was nothing wrong with your twist off caps, guys. Nothing wrong. So, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had a problem with this. It seems like a reoccurring theme with my paint. Yeah, I just licked my brush. It's a bad habit. Don't do it. I also use P3 paints. I do like them. They have a great coverage. They're great for opacity. I do swear by their Hammerfall khaki and their Jackbone for doing khaki colors. Way better than Commando khaki, if it's even called that anymore. So, try them out. Don't be afraid to try new things. Go take a journey to the dollar store, see what you can find that's hobby related. I'm sure you've heard this before. Now, touching on something going on with GW right now, they just released a bunch of brand new Dark Angels models. Now, before I dive into what I think of them, I do want to touch on their codexes. I have to say, I'm very, very impressed with their new codexes. Now, I know the price has gone up, but you got to remember, they've also upped the quality of the books. They're in a better color, they're in a better format. The color in the pages and the paper they use is absolutely flawless. Like, they've done a great job. And the hardcover, the book's going to last longer. I don't know about you guys, but I've gone through like 4 of these where the pages literally have fallen out of the new GW books, especially the Space Marine one. I think I've had, look, right here, pages fall out. It happens all the time. The old books, shit. New books, great. So, if you guys really want to, go out, pick one up, check them out. They're really, really good. I'm not big on buying codexes. I like to download them. I can remember it all, most of it. So, I do download the codexes. So, try them out. But another thing is with the GW books, don't just limit yourself to buying the codex you're into. Always check out a new army or something like that. Broaden your horizons when it comes to the hobby. Just because you're not really into Tyranids or you're not really into Necrons or something, don't stop yourself from flipping through that codex. You might find something you like. It might inspire you to start a new army. So, touching on the Dark Angel models. I'm not a huge fan of Dark Angels. I never have been. They are a pretty badass chapter. There's a lot going on with them. You can play bikes, play all Terminators. So there's a lot of variety there. But talking on the new kits, their new land speeder, I don't know who the fuck designed this model, but putting that cockpit gunner guy at the front who looks like he's been squeezed into a ball and stuck in a hole to fire a gun, it just doesn't look right to me. They could have designed it better. Also, the force generator grab field thing around the front, they could have wrapped it around the front of the model. I think it would have given it a better look. Their new flyer, haven't really got a chance to take a look at it or have my hands on it. It does look pretty cool. It just looks like they did something crazy to a Storm Talon. Nothing substantial. One thing I am impressed with the new kits though on is the new Belial model. I think they did a fantastic sculpt on it. The only thing that I don't like is the fact that you're only limited to the options that they gave you to equip him with. The sword and the bolter. Like, fuck guys, get it together. He comes with, you can put him, give him lightning claws. Why would you include both weapon upgrades with them? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Or they're going to release the upgrade pack and charge you guys more money for the model. Totally a GW move. Dicks. Anyways, Dark Angel models, they're pretty cool. I like them. I really won't be buying any of them. That doesn't interest me at all. I like to build my own stuff. I like unique. I don't like to go with the flow of 40K, so I'm always converting things. Something I'll show you real quick as I duck down. Go down here. Oh, see? There's nobody there, just a window. Is I slowly bought a Storm Raven in pieces off of eBay. I actually saved $60. Suckers. By buying it. Why? Because I didn't have to buy the back half of the model because I didn't want it. Why? Because if you can see, I've actually built a whole new body for it, a whole shell. I've actually given it the look of a Storm Eagle, which is a way better looking model. I wish they had done the Storm Raven in this fashion. I also flattened out the wings. I haven't really done anything crazy, didn't add any bits. I just cut it in certain spots and just re-glued it. Used a tail fin, gave it a different look, gave it multi-meltas. Now the thing with this model is, I was smart when I built it. I put mags in the wings so that I can give it the las cannons and the same equipment that the Storm Eagle has, and I also have it so that it has the exact same equipment as a Storm Raven has. So I can play it as either one or the other. I have that option. And this is what I'm talking. This is something that most people should get into when they're building their models. Is give your models versatility. Don't just think that just because it says Storm Raven on the box that you have to build it like that and play it as that. You can convert it, and a lot of people out there are very open to the idea of letting you convert a model and play it as something else. None of my friends have ever said you can't play this as a Storm Eagle. The thing fucking looks like it. So I'm allowed to. So it's pretty cool, and I can play it as a Storm Raven. It works both ways. So don't ever just try magnets. Try using magnets in your models. Try converting stuff up, giving it multi-purposes. I know that's not an easy thing to do. You can't really do it with a draw pod. But there's a lot of things you can do it with. Like this, a lot of the flyers. Or even my Helidrake conversion. Like, it doesn't play as something else, but it looks really, really cool. So, I'm gonna close up. I'm gonna say this is the end here and everything. I think I've done enough talking about 40K for now. Well, actually, one thing that I do want to mention, though, there's a 40K group having a competition. Make sure you enter your models. Who knows? I might give away a prize. I don't know yet. But I want to thank you guys all for tuning in and lasting this long. It's been a long video. For all you 40K nerds out there, may the Emperor protect you, or may the Chaos Gods feed you blood. And have fun, people. Stay safe. Keep it real. Enjoy your hobby. And never, ever let somebody tell you that you're a loser, or that you're dumb, or you're stupid because you play 40K. It's something you love. And don't ever let anybody tell you that something you do and something that you love is stupid. Do what makes you happy. Who cares what they think? If you enjoy your hobby and they label you as a nerd or a geek or whatever, well, fuck them. You enjoy doing it, and that's all that matters. And until next Friday, people, cut up your models, hack your shit up, come up with something new, build an army, get out there and play the game you love, Warhammer 40,000. Have a good one, guys. Till next time. Woo!